from PRX.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends beyond the binary, and all get ready, get set, bakers. It's time for Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. And my patron peeps, what up, my patron peeps? How are all of you? And you might be saying, what in the name of, what in the name is this show? Would you consider this show like a double aught flour or a whole wheat flour or a alternative non-wheat flour, all-purpose flour? If I had to call for me, I'm my preferred flour is rye flour. Or what was the name of that skunk? Wasn't there a skunk called Flower once upon a time? You know what it is? Flowering prose is what's coming at you. Like a poof of flour before you touch that dough. It's time for Sleep With Me. And if you're looking for something that makes sense, I don't know. What do you say we get on with the show? All right, everybody, it's time to talk about tonight's sponsor, Helix. And oh boy, am I excited because my Helix is on its way. I took the Helix quiz after I moved. Some of my sleeping preferences changed. So I took the quiz. I got matched with the perfect mattress for me and how I sleep, how I like to sleep cool and my needs. But what about you? The winter season is on us. And with it being cooler, are you going to spend more time indoors, relaxing with family, playing games, watching TV? Maybe even if you have a coldy cold, you're really going to want a comfortable mattress then. So it's the perfect time to invest in a new mattress. Helix has you covered. Because we all have different ways we like our mattresses to feel. We all have different sleep positions, different levels of firmness we like. So here's the thing. Take that Helix quiz, helixsleep.com/sleep, because Helix is going to match you with the perfect mattress based on your personal preferences and sleep needs. It makes buying a mattress so easy. And like I said, I like to sleep cooler. I sleep on my side. I sleep on my stomach. But I've developed a fondness for firmer mattresses now. So I was looking for something like that. And the Helix quiz worked it all out for me. I'm just waiting. Every day I hear the doorbell. I'm like, is that my new Helix? So you could be sleeping in a new Helix while I'm sleeping in a new Helix. We'll have one more thing in common. And no matter what this colder season brings, we know we'll both be comfortable. But the best part is Helix always has a deal for our listeners. So go to helixsleep.com/sleep for 27% off site-wide during their end-of-year sale. That's helixsleep.com/sleep for their exclusive end-of-year offer. 27% off site-wide. Make sure you enter our show name after checkout so they know we sent you. helixsleep.com/sleep. Thanks, everybody. Everybody, Scoots here, and when I wake up in the morning, I try to take some downtime, some quiet time before I get my day started. But as soon as that quiet time's over, my brain's bouncing around. What all the things I got to do? I'm forgetting the things I got to do. I'm jumping from one thing to the other. I try to drink some coffee to boost my focus, but it ends up making me jittery. And I have a couple tools at work, meditation, pausing. It can be a struggle, and I do have a lot to accomplish every day. So I'm always on the lookout. What else can help me focus, get things done, but that doesn't have a downside? And that's what I love about our new sponsor. It solves some of those problems. And I'm talking about Everyday Dose, which is coffee plus benefits. Everyday Dose combines high-quality coffee with powerful ingredients like lion's mane and chaga, collagen protein, and nootropics to fuel your brain, boost focus, and give you clean, sustained energy all day long. And it's delicious. It tastes just like coffee, but there's no downsides. There's no crash, no jitters, just clean, sustained energy. And then I can get to focusing on what's important, putting you to sleep, right? So if you get those coffee jitters, if you wake up and you say, man, I wish there was something to help me focus on what's important, that tastes good. Well, you got to check out Everyday Dose. Right now, get 61% off your first Coffee Plus starter kit, free Peppermint Mocha Creamer Plus for the holidays, and over $100 in free gifts. Plus, enter for a chance to win $100 cash or get your entire order refunded. Visit everydaydose.com/sleep or use sleep at checkout. Thanks, everybody. Hey, everybody, Scoots here. This message is for the super listeners. So if you're new, you only listen occasionally, or you're just going through a tough time, this message is not for you. But if you're still listening right now, you probably already know what I'm going to say, right? Because you listen 4 nights a week. Maybe you listen to 8 episodes a night. Maybe you fall asleep fast, or you've been listening for months and months or years and years and years. So I'm going to start with a simple question, and I want you to think about this for a second. How much do you plan on listening to Sleep With Me in 2026? Is it going to be a part of your life in 2026? Because the reality is, for you to be able to listen in 2026, right now, tonight, one real person has to support the show. And the reality, like I talk about in Liza's messages, it's either one person that's going to sign up and support the show right now or 0. It's not every listener, because not every listener is a super listener, and most super listeners don't support the show either. It's just one listener. And just like I'm hoping you're the one, maybe you're hoping that someone else out there is the one, that someone else is going to do it. But I'm hoping it's you, because you may be the only person paying attention, the only super listener listening to me right now, hearing me right now. But in addition to that, you could get the Sleep With Me Plus on sale before the end of the year. If you've never supported the show, you can get 20% off your first 3 months just by signing up at sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. If you sign up for a gift subscription, you gift yourself the gift to Sleep With Me Plus, or someone else gives you the gift to Sleep With Me Plus. You could get 20% off that gift subscription, whether it's 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 20% off. And you could do that right on Sleep With Me Plus's main page. Because if the podcast is going to be a part of your nights in 2026, if I'm going to keep making those nights better, it's going to be you, or it's going to be somebody else supporting the show, right? For your listening, if you're a super listener. And if you're in a place where you could do so, I hope you're the one. And you could save 20% off. You can use the link in the show notes, but don't put it off another day if you're thinking about it. If you're thinking about what it's going to be like in 2026, support the show right now and save money. sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. Oh, Mystery Bard. A lot of people help out on the show. Who are they?
Chris Posty Poster Son sounds like a near fall. Wrote the theme song. Edits episodes. Carl W. the Legend. Also edits episodes. Ashley, Kenny, Scotty, Jennifer. Runner. Eric and the team at Astound are on the website. I am the Mystery Bard. I do the lullabies, yeah. I do commissions at JonathanMann.net. I'll write a song for you. Any reason at all. You can tell me the story and I'll make it personal. You see the kindness shine straight on through when the listeners form their own Facebook group. Keith, Stacy, Sarah, Julie, and Jennifer. These are your moderators. Get support dear Scooter on Patreon. Buy the merch and support the sponsors. You can find anything you want at sleepwithmepodcast.com. And we're so proud that we could dance. Rusty Biscuit, Lois, Anna like banana. Leah does the transcript.
Thanks, Mystery Bard. And hey, the thing I've been talking about lately is like there's ways to support the show beyond the sponsors and supporting the show directly. If you're an occasional listener, right? If you're a new listener or you can't afford to support the show, follow the show on your podcast app of choice. Make sure to like or comment if your app allows that, and say hi. Spread the word about the show in person when it comes up, or let people know about it. Go ahead right now. Follow the show on your podcast app right now. Then you get the latest episodes and stuff like that. Great. Yeah, spread the word when you can, or sign up for. We're relaunching our referral program. It's going to be based with like live stream get-togethers every once in a while. We're going to make it more fun. You could sign up for that. Sleepwithmepodcast.com/refer. REFER. Thanks, and what do you say we get down with the show? Hey, are you up all night tossing, turning, mind racing? Trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep? Well, welcome. This is Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. We do it with a bedtime story. All you need to do is get in bed, turn out the lights, and press play. I'm going to do the rest. What I'm going to attempt to do is create a safe place where you could set aside whatever's keeping you awake, whether, so if it's thoughts, like things on your mind that you're thinking about the past, present, or future, or yourself, or, oh boy, or, all those things. So it could be thoughts, it could be feelings or emotions coming up for you, or that are already there, that it could be remains from the day. Was that a book and a film, The Remains of the Day? I remember, that must have won some Oscars at some point. And I said, that seems like too much of a serious... Is that one of those movies that... and I don't know, but that I said, is that one that I'll have trouble sitting still for? What's the runtime on that? Will I be asking myself how much time remains in Remains of the Day? Will it be exacerbated by my, will I have to hide my device so I could pay attention? And will I be thinking about, oh yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. So, it could be feelings from the remains of the day. It could be anticipatory feelings. Could be physical sensations. Whatever is keeping you awake. Hopefully I'll come back to that. Whatever's keeping you awake, I'm here to distract you from that and take your mind off of that. Keep you company, really, as you fall asleep. And what I propose to do, as I said, is create a safe place. And ideally, just a safe place means there's no expectations on your end. For me, I don't expect much of you. Now, I guess I said that in a way like someone that's already already disappointed. Boy, sorry about that. That's just my natural. What is that? Eeyore, that Eeyore part of me. But I do mean there's no pressure on you. Well, we'll get to that. But I mean, you know what I mean. If you're a regular listener, if you're new, you don't. That's why I'm trying to over-explain it. But a safe place means you don't have to really do much. This is here for you. And I don't know what else I got mixed up. But what I'll also do is, I'll rub it up, pat it. I'll say safe place. Then I'll send my voice across the deep, dark night. I'll use lulling, soothing, creaky, dulcet tones, pointless meanders, superfluous tangents. So I'll go off topic. I'll get mixed up. I'm going to use filler words, pregnant pause. Not pregnant pauses. I'll use pauses that normally say, is that a pregnant pause? And you say, nope, no, it's just a pause, just an overwrought pause. I don't know. But here's the thing. If you're new, I'm glad you're here. Let me give you some information, about the show, because like I said, there's I want to respect your expectations and also try to work with them, because if this is your first time listening to the show, it's like, oh boy, what is this? What have I already listened to? Because structurally, I don't normally talk about this up front, but the show's very different structurally. Starts off with a greeting, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends beyond the binary, and star bakers, or every baker's a star baker in my book. And that does not whatever, just because you, whatever. I don't want to get into a debate about how many star bakers can there be. And I'd say, well, as many as I'd like. You're the star baker. Asking that question, you're a double star baker. But that goes to the, structure of the show. So it starts off with that, so you're welcome. Then there's business. That's how we were able to bring you the podcast twice a week for free and not part of a paid service. And that's about 4 or 6 minutes long, the business. And I don't even think that's mixed in with also the supporter business, which is to support you as a listener. Then there's an intro, which we've just started. The intro is around 16 to 20 minutes long. Really no business in the intro. Though sometimes people, when they don't like the structure of the show, they I don't know, they don't notice it. Really, the intro is a slow wind down where I try to explain what the podcast is unsuccessfully. I'm not able to do it in a concise and quick way. but that also serves the purpose of getting some distance from the remains of the day. And I don't even know right now if Remains of the Day came out. I want to say one of the Irons was in it. Okay, so I guess Michael Ironside could be one of the Irons, though Jeremy Irons and Michael Ironside. I don't think Michael Ironside was in it. Probably Jeremy Irons could have been in it. Or is it Jeffrey Irons? Jeffrey Lyons may have reviewed the movie. But I don't know if that movie came out 70s, 80s, 90s, aughts, whatever they're calling the thing between 10 and 20. And then, so I don't know. I say, well, when did that movie come out? I have no idea. Who's that? Jim Caviezel? I don't know how to say his name. I said, well, he could be in it, but probably not. Helen Mirren, you'd say if a movie was named Remains of the Day, and it was made in the mid-90s to present day, I'd say, well, I'd put a 70% chance Helen Mirren was in it, and that's why I was so successful. But I don't know. If it was before, I'd say before 1998. I'm not sure. I'm trying to think. You say, well, if it was not that these two are related, but I'd say before 1998, and if it was called Remains of the Day, I'd just say Robert Redford was probably in it, maybe. You see why, I don't know why, just part of my movie brain is saying, well, yeah. It was an Oscar winner or up for an Oscar. It just sounds like it would be. Sounds like one of those languid movies. So, like you say, so tell me about the movie. Well, it takes place in a country estate, and there's like a lot of feelings. There's something that happens, and then people deal with that, and then they change as people. Then they have to deal with their changes. Not everyone's straightforward about it. Then someone returns from a journey. Someone else goes on a journey. There's a lot of eating in rooms with great sunlight. That's Remains of the, I don't know. That's my made up review of Remains of the Day. Oh, what remains of this, explaining what the podcast is. So the intro goes on and on and on so that you get some distance from the day. It eases you into bedtime. So if you're new, it's definitely strange because you say, when's the podcast start? When is he going to get to a point? And as you become a regular listener, you realize, oh, never. Like, and you say, Remains of the Day is my favorite movie. It was an action movie. And I'd say, really? Well, no, there was a movie. It moved me, I guess you'd say. Say, sorry, I wasn't making fun of it. I was just trying to remember. I don't remember much anyway. Okay, but so the intro goes on and on and on so that you ease into bedtime or as you get ready for bed. It just, gets, whatever. It helps you get, like, let the day remain where it was in the past. Don't worry, I'll look it up in a few minutes and after I record this. If I remember, a lot of times, just like when people wake up, I'll stop recording. I'll be like, what was I thinking about in that intro? I don't know. And I won't listen to this for a few months, record it months before it comes out. Anyway, so so that's the intro. Then there's business. That's how podcast structure works. So the business is there to keep the show free. Then there's our episode. We'll be running through Great British Bake Off, a baking show, and talking about that in a very meandering and indirect and slow and enjoyable way. And then there's the thank yous. So that's the structure of the show. A couple other things to talk about if you're new. One is if you're skeptical or doubtful. I mean, the structure can be a part of that, but also the expectations. Like, one, I don't expect you to listen to the show, though you may at first try to do that. You can just kind of barely listen is the best way to do it. And you'd say, I don't know. I was trying to think of a metaphor or something I could use Remains of the Day. but kind of like in my brain. I mean, when I'm trying to remember Remains of the Day, the main thing I remember is that it was a lauded film, lauded, I think, and that the name of it. And then I just picture, and I'm not kidding, I picture like a field of wheat with the sun and maybe some lens flare, maybe one of those things that you blow on and you make a wish, dandelion fluff, and maybe just in the distance like a farmhouse or something, or a barn. Or it could be that, but a stone country estate, because you say, oh, no, it takes place in England. Oh, okay, so there's an estate there. And so that's what I mean by barely listening. At some point, I was barely paying attention when I probably watched the Oscars. It may have won Best Film. And you say, Scooch, isn't this your favorite actress? Don't you love Helen Mirren? Well, she wasn't in that movie. I say, oh, okay. Should have been. I mean, maybe they would have won double Oscars if she was in it. And there's no one named Jeremy Ironside. And I'd say, are you sure on the planet? Or you mean like an actor? What about Jenny Ironside? If I ever have a personal trainer, that's who I'd like to be my personal trainer. Jenny Ironside. Jenny Ironside. No, it's not easy to say. I'll have to think of Tammy Ironside. Anyway, so, don't really listen to this podcast. I think I made that point. Also, the strange thing is this podcast is not really here to put you to sleep. It's here to keep you company while you fall asleep. That's why the shows are about an hour. It's just to give you plenty of time to drift off. And if you can't sleep, I'm going to be here to the very end for you. So whether you're awake or asleep, I'm here to keep you company, to be your bore friend, your bore bae, your bore cuz, your bore sib, your bore bestie. I'm here for you. So that's why I'm here. I'm here to keep you company as you drift off. But if you're awake or you wake back up or whatever, I'm here to keep you company too. So it's kind of like a dual role. Then, what's that? Oh, I forgot what, don't need to listen to me. No pressure, fall asleep. Oh, give the show a few tries. That's the other thing. And I don't say this out of desperation or need or anything. I just say it because almost everybody that regularly listens to the show says give it 2 or 3 tries because it's different. And that's okay. And it's also okay if you don't like it. That's one of the things I like to point out is important too. You know, the show's here to try to put you to sleep, but it doesn't put everybody to sleep. It's both an acquired taste and when it's an acquired taste, it's just not for everybody. But I hope it's for you. And the best way to find out is like to not listen to it and not listen to it 2 or 3 tries, 2 or 3 times. Because I don't really gain anything like with the number of listeners. It's just the number of listeners that are actively involved in the show. So there's not anything crafty. In fact, like I don't know if I haven't kept up the website, but I used to have a website, sleepwithmepodcast.com/no thank you. And I should probably update it with more other sleep podcasts that you could check out if you're looking for something. And Sleep With Me does not work for you. But it should still be up and it should have good options. What else? Don't need to listen to me. No pressure to fall asleep. The show's very different. Not everybody likes it. It's okay to be skeptical or doubtful. The reason I make the show is because I believe you deserve a good night's sleep. It's really what it comes down to. You deserve a place you could rest. And along with that, if you get some rest, you're going to be able to live your life a little bit more. Your life will be a little bit more manageable or pleasurable. And then our world's going to be a better place. And you say, well, pish posh, that's not. And I say, no, that's true. And I know how it feels. I've been there, tossing, turning, mind racing, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep, all those things. And so I know how it feels. And so if I can help you, it would really be my honor because they say, well, I know what it's like to dread bedtime. And I want to make a podcast. And my goal with this show is that you say, well, I got bedtime coming up. At least I got Scoots there. And hopefully he is actually going on IMDb right now to just ease my mind, which he doesn't normally do. and type in remains of the day. Remains of the day. Oh boy, I was close. So Anthony Hopkins is in it, and Emma Thompson, Christopher Reeve. Yeah, and it looks like the cover is of Anthony Hopkins and Emma Thompson. Let's see if it was based on a book or something. I don't know. But yeah, let's see. Oh yeah, it was a merchant. It's James Ivory. I don't know if it was a Merchant Ivory movie. I guess so. What was that? 1990. What year did I say? 1993. Oh yeah, I just turned my phone. I was going to look up, I think it's based on a novel, but anyway, so I'm here, to go off topic, just like I just did, to keep you company, because I really want to help you fall asleep. So give it a few tries. I really appreciate you coming by and checking the show out. I really hope I can help you. You're in a nice drive. I really hope I can help you fall asleep. Thanks again for coming by. And here's a couple of ways I'm able to bring you this podcast twice a week on the regular. All right, everybody, it's time to talk about tonight's sponsor, ZocDoc. And I'll just tell you right up front, you got to check out ZocDoc because 2026 is going to be a new year for me, new insurance, new care providers, and I'm so glad I have an option like ZocDoc. Because this year is going to be one more year under my, the old experience belt, as they say, the life experience belt. And that means I want to have a good relationship with a doctor I could talk to and trust, whether it's about my sleep issues around stress, or anything else. I just have a question. I say, hey, what about this? Or what about this thing? I want to be comfortable. I want to feel heard, and I also want to be able to get an appointment with a doctor who takes my insurance. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors and click to instantly book an appointment. You can filter for doctors who take your insurance, are located nearby, are a good fit for any medical need you might have, and are highly rated by verified patients. Once you find the right doctor, you can see their actual appointment openings, choose a time slot that works for you, and click to instantly book a visit. Appointments made through ZocDoc also happen fast, typically within just 24 to 72 hours of booking. More often than not, you can even get same-day appointments. And like I said, I'm going to be using ZocDoc in 2026. It just gives me so much relief with my move, with getting new insurance. I know I've got an option that works. So you should check it out too. Stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/sleep to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/sleep. ZocDoc.com/sleep. Thanks, everybody. Hey, are you up all night tossing, turning, mind racing, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep? Well, welcome. This is Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. We do it a bedtime story. All you need to do is get in bed, turn out the lights and press play. I'm going to do the rest. What I'm going to attempt to do is create a safe place where you could set aside whatever's keeping you awake. That could be, things that you're thinking about on your mind. That could be from the past, present, or future. It could be physical sensations. It could be feelings related to the physical sensations or the thoughts, or just feelings that are there. Changes in time or temperature or routine or something else, work schedule. I don't know, whatever it is that's keeping you awake. When I say I don't know, I mean, I don't know. It's important, but it's important for me to be here to keep you company and take your mind off of it too. And so that's what my job is. The way I'm going to do it, or I propose to do it, is I'm going to send my voice across the deep, dark night. I'm going to use lulling, soothing, creaky, dulcet tones, pointless meanders, superfluous tangents. And I'm going to go off topic and get mixed up and then, talk about something way too much. And, kind of like, I don't know if that's what the Hokey Pokey's like. I know I've talked about the Hokey Pokey before, but this podcast, here's the thing. And I say, wait a second, the tarnished past of the Hokey Pokey probably is out there, but, was that game supposed to teach us something? I guess, this was the 80s when I was doing it. I say, yeah. Blind allegiance to authority figures, Scoots. And I say, well, then that makes sense. I guess that that fits the time period. And because you say it was like some authority, whoever had the microphone. Most of the time I was doing the Hokey Pokey was at like at a roller skating birthday party or fundraiser. And you would do the Hokey Pokey there. I have no idea how I could actually do it, but apparently I did. Maybe that was like, well, maybe I wasn't. I mean, I'm a different person than I am today than I was now. Then I wasn't even a person. I was a child. But I don't think because you put your right foot in, you put your left foot out, you put your right foot in, and you shake it all about. You do the Hokey Pokey and you turn yourself around. And that's, well, so I was thinking, oh, yeah, it's like, hey, just follow along. Just do but now I'm saying at bedtime, it can feel like that. That's what it's all about. You're turning all around, tossing, turning. But whatever it is, if you're new, I want to give you some info because my regular listeners say, Scoots, I love it when you talk about skating parties and then you get mixed up, and then it's hard for me to imagine you on four wheels or two wheels. And I'd say, yeah, it's hard for me to make. I scarcely believe it. If you're new, I'm glad you're here. Let me give you some information. If you're new and you're skeptical or you're doubtful or you're not sure about this show, that's totally normal. That's how most people arrive at this podcast. Maybe you heard about it from somebody or a list somewhere. Or maybe you're just searching for a podcast to put you to sleep or to take your mind off of stuff. That's what I do, but it's kind of like calling a friend across the deep, dark night and you say, can you just talk to me about some nonsense for a while? Like in a friendly voice to keep me company while I fall asleep. That's what I'm here to do. So essentially, I'm not really here to put you to be listened to. You could listen at any point. You can listen along and I'll be keeping you company for as long as you need to, but the listening is optional. But also, I'm not really here to put you to sleep. I'm here to be your bore friend, your bore bae, your bore cuz, your bore sib, your bore bestie, your bore bruh, and to keep you company while you fall asleep. So those are two things. If you're new, and it's a very common experience not to like the show when you first get here, or not to like it at all. That's totally cool. This show is not for everybody, so no pressure. No pressure to listen. No pressure to fall asleep. No pressure to like me or the podcast. Just see how it goes. Maybe be like well, let me see if I can get used to this or not. And that's what literally hundreds of thousands of people have said. It took 2 or 3 tries before I got used to the show. So it's okay. And it's okay if you don't get used to it. There's other podcasts you could check out at sleepwithmepodcast.com/no thank you. That's a list of other great sleep podcasts and other things I use to take my mind off stuff. So let's see. Those are those two things. Other things that can throw new listeners off, other than what are creaky dulcet tones? Well, a voice that's neither pleasant nor unpleasant. But on the unpleasant side of you say, well, yeah, that's creaky dulcet tones. Pointless meanders. I think I've already demonstrated that. Structure of the show can throw new people off, and that's totally normal too. Our structure is very different. The structure is very intentional. Because the goal of the podcast is to ease you into bedtime and to be here for you on a reliable basis twice a week. So, let's see. So what can I tell you about that? Oh, structure show. Show starts off with a greeting, friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, so you feel seen and welcome. And the show ideally is built on as I learn more and more about being empathetic and compassionate, Like, hopefully that becomes a stronger and stronger foundation of podcasts. Then there's support for listeners. Then there's support so the podcast can be here for free from sponsors and listeners type stuff. Then there's the intro. Now, this is where the business throws some people off, but some people think the business just carries on to the intro. But really, the intro starts, 6, 8 minutes in the show and goes on and on and on for somewhere between 10 and 20 minutes. And the intro's purpose is to ease you into bedtime. It's for new listeners to say, okay, I kind of barely understand what he's talking about of what to expect. And I think he's mentioned self-care, not to try to conquer self-care and not to try to conquer sleep, but to ease us into bedtime. So the intro is a way to get some distance from the day. But the regular listeners, as you become a regular listener, if you do, you kind of work it or you change it up. Listeners change up how they use the show all the time. So these are just some examples. So the majority of people wind down during the intro, whether they're getting ready for bed, brushing their teeth, brushing their hair, brushing their pets, maybe even brushing your tub. I mean, give your tub a brush. I mean, one, might like it, and two, might be relaxing. Maybe not, though, because you say a light brushing. Maybe do some, I don't know. Maybe that's not the best idea, because I'd say that's more of a scrub, Scoots. I'd say, yeah, that's what my tub said. I prefer a scrub than a brush. So, but maybe you're brushing something else. I don't know. Trying to think of other things you'd brush that would be pleasant. Maybe brush your rug. That could be a thing. I mean, how come there's a lot of soothing things people don't know about? You say rug brushing. Oh, to clean your rugs? No. Have you never brushed a rug before? Holy moly. What kind of rug you got? Doesn't matter. Don't answer because it could be, if you brush, what kind of brush you have? Oh boy, are you in for a treat? Oh, you don't have a rug? You got a floor? Oh man, you got the side of a, you ever brush the side of your sofa? Oh man, it's one of those things I've never tried, but I've imagined I've tried it, and it was so chill. Sounds terribly boring, and, I do while I'm listening to a sleep podcast, and I'm unwinding. So I don't know, other listeners are in bed getting comfortable and drifting off. Other people are stretching or doodling or doing a craft. A small percentage of listeners are falling asleep. Oh, so cozy. You look so cozy there. Oh, boy. 2 to 3% of listeners skip ahead about 20 minutes and start the show there because they want to be closer to when the story starts. And then on Patreon, it's a little bit easier for people that listen all night long or like story-only episodes or like all intro episodes. And then there's some people that are starting the show like in the middle of the night when they get up. So hello. Good re-evening to you. We'll have to think of a good greeting for that. If you're listening to this, let me know. Because good night, nighty night. Maybe that's what you say after midnight. Instead of saying good night, you say nighty night. Nighty night. I don't know. I can't think of any words, empowering words that rhyme with that, but. So my brain, there was just like a long pause as I tried to think of something. I said, all my words are like, the only silly word I can think of is tidy whites. But everything else is that's not very sleepy. And tidy whites aren't super sleepy either. Tidy ones would be say, oh boy, your tidy whiteys are tidy. Anyway, so that's the way the intro, it kind of, for most people, it eases you into bedtime. It's part of your wind down. You don't necessarily need to fall asleep to it. You could, but it's designed to give you some distance from the day and the night. Then there's our more business. That's just where a lot of companies like it, between the intro and the story. And then we'll start our bedtime story. Tonight it's going to be a crossover episode, so it'll be really, really fun. And if you ever want to check it out, the podcast out, it's called The Quiet Journeys of Professor Atwood. And we'll be covering episode 5, but it's just another sleep-style podcast, chill bedtime stories. Kind of on Sleep With Me level, a little bit silly, a little bit immersive. So that's The Quiet Journeys of Professor Atwood, and we'll be doing episode 5 tonight in the Songus National Forest. So that'll be our story. Then the show ends with some thank yous. So that's the structure of the show. And the other really important thing for you to know, other than it's okay not to like the show, just give it a few tries and that doesn't work for everybody, is that the reason I make the show is because I know how it feels. Tossing, turning, mind racing, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep. Yeah, I've had it all in other ones too. Yeah, I don't want to get into it, but if I can help you, whatever you're going through, get some rest or take your mind off of it or keep you company. If you can't sleep, that's really important to me. And that goes deeper on the second level is your sleep is important. You deserve a good night's sleep. And if I can help, that makes our world a better place. If you can face the day with a little more energy tomorrow, that's great. And then that's powerful. Or if this becomes part of your routine, or you graduate from the podcast and you develop your own sleep routine, that's amazing. So I'm really glad you're here. I really hope the podcast can help you. Give it a few tries. I work really hard. I yearn and I strive. I really hope I can help you fall asleep. And here are the ways I'm able to do it for you free twice a week. Thanks. Hey, are you up all night tossing, turning, mind racing, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep? Well, welcome. This is Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. We do it a bedtime story. All you need to do is get in bed, turn out the lights, and press play. And I'm going to do the rest. What I'm going to attempt to do is keep you company while you fall asleep. So, and take your mind off of whatever's keeping you awake. I guess I got mixed up already. So I'm not sure where in the intro I am. But what I'm going to attempt to do is take your mind off whatever's keeping you awake. So whether that's thoughts, and the reason I got mixed up, honestly, is I had a thought pop in my head. So it could be thoughts from the past, present, or future. It could be feelings or emotions related to those thoughts. It could be physical sensations. It could be changes in time, temperature, routine. Whatever it is that is keeping you awake, I'd like to take your mind off of that and keep you company while you fall asleep. And what I propose to do, or what I'm going to attempt to do, is I'm going to send my voice across the deep, dark night here. I'm going to use lulling, soothing, creaky, dulcet tones. Creaky like a door. Creaky like a floor. Creaky that you could ignore. A creaker who's a bore. And my rhymes you may have to endure. Because, once I get started, it becomes a bit of a chore. Oh, boy. But, I'm here to empower your rest and a snore, or to help you counter someone else's snoring over there, bub. But whatever it is, so if you're new, regular listeners, how about that rhyme? That was pretty, you could say, how many people say, well, that was a mediocre rhyme? And I say, thanks. Not many people are proud of mediocre rhyming. And you say, well, because it can't really be, here's part of my brain that says, but it can't be this because it's impossible. Something either rhymes or it does not rhyme, Scooter. And I'd say, really, are you, I forgot what the word was that I was going to say is your role. It's like a grammarian, but it's different. If you were in Star Wars, could you be a grammarian guard? Then I guess you'd be guarding grammar. Is that what you're doing now? No, I was just saying that, I don't know. You don't have to call it, you just say it was an attempt at rhyming versus a mediocre rhyme. But wasn't it kind of rhyming? But you changed the word. Okay, I got to get back to the show. Thank you, though. Thanks for taking a second to point that out to me. No problem. That's what I'm here for. Great. So, new regular listeners, there's another brain bot of mine, Grammarian Guard. Star Wars fans unite. So if you're new, that's what I wanted to tell you. I wanted to give you some information since you're new. I'm glad you're here. The thing is, I really am glad you're here. You may not be glad to be here at first, which is totally normal and understandable. You might be doubtful, unsure, skeptical. You might say, what is this? And that's a very understandable way to come to the show. I totally get it and totally understand that. That's how most people get here. You say, wait a second, this guy's just going to talk grammarian guard. You see, yeah, like they're not grammarian guards either, Scoots. And I'd say, really? Are you sure they're not grammarian guards? You're right, it doesn't sound right. After saying grammarian guard, nothing sounds right. I'm the guarder of the grammarians. Who are the grammarians? There are people... Actually, yeah, because does a grammarian guard... If it is a grammarian guard or a grammarian guard, you say, no, that's not who I am. I'm not are you a guard that happens to be grammarian, or are you someone who guards grammarians, right? Because wouldn't you think, like, you got the Queen's Guard, that would be probably, I think there's something called the Queen's Guard, right? I would assume that their job is to guard the Queen. Let's just say there was someone whose job was to guard the butter. I would think you'd call them the butter guards, right? Boy, talk about an honor. I didn't even think about this, but say, you're a butter guard? Holy man. Yeah, guard the butter sculptures. Yeah, I know. It's just something I've dreamed of. I never thought I'd meet a butter guard in per person, but I'm kind of speechless. Weren't you at the beginning of a podcast intro? Yeah, it went off way off topic because I just got, first I got mixed up about one thing. That was a superfluous tangent. And then this is like kind of a pointless meander, but not really, because I said, well, wait a second. If they're are they grammarians that are guards? That's different. Somebody get the SAT. Well, here's an idea. Disney, Star Wars, Lucasfilm. How about a branded SAT or ACT? Optional. Doesn't make the test any easier or harder. And we could do a Marvel one too, but it's themed. You say, do you want to take an SAT that's themed or unthemed? And you say, well, what's the advantage? Oh, the themed SATs cost $200 more, but they're themed. It makes it seem less like a test and more like you taking something you like. And yeah, but yeah, we invented it because of the great grammarian guard debate that got started in 2021 or something. It's Scooter wanted to make it into another one of his illogical logic questions. If a guard guards grammarians, is it a grammarian guard? We have a grammarian guard. Does it A, guard grammarians? B, happen to be a grammarian who is a guard? C, neither. It is an official title thought up by the Hutts. You say probably C. Actually, I guess it's C. Has nothing to do with who they are or what they guard. Okay. All right. Well, moving on then. We solved that. We didn't even need a grammarian to solve that. So if you're new here and you're doubtful, I think you're even more doubtful now. That's good, because this show is a podcast you barely listen to. And eventually, I know right now you might be kind of listening and saying, what in the May the 4th is this person talking about? And I'd say, yeah, he's May the 4th and at his mouth. And I say, you're right about that. I don't even know when this episode's coming out. Hopefully in May. But yeah, this podcast is very different, so that eventually on your second or third listen, you say, oh, I just barely pay attention to him. Okay, I get it now. Now I understand. There's not really, it's trying to comprehend something that's nearly incomprehensible. It's trying to listen to a person who can't comprehend things, make something incomprehensible in order to comprehend it. And I say, exactly. That's exactly what the show is like. What a deft way to put it. That's really accurate. So that's one thing. This is a podcast you don't listen to. Kind of look at it like you look at clouds or leaves and trees, or wind in the upper branches, or listen like the sounds of the summer night. That's one thing. The other thing is that this podcast really doesn't put you to sleep. It's more here to keep you company while you drift off. That's why the shows are over an hour, give you plenty of time to fall asleep. And also, if you can't sleep, I'm here for you. I'm here to keep you barely entertained and keep you company whether you're awake or asleep. So, yeah, if you can't sleep, I'm here. I'll be here to the very end. But I'll also be here to the very end, so you don't have to wonder if I'll be here. Like, that's what happens. You say, well, if you're only going to be there 20 minutes, what if I don't fall asleep? Don't worry. I'll be here, whether you're awake or asleep. That's my commitment. So those are two things to know if you're new. A few other things to throw people off. One is that it takes a bunch of times to get used to the show. It is free, but it's just the way, because it is so different. It's not really your traditional, I don't know, like, it is more like a bedtime story for kids. You say, oh, okay, and now I get it. It's not, I don't understand. And I say, right. So that's one thing. The other thing to know is that, so don't listen, don't pay attention. Not everybody likes it. It takes a few times to get. What about the good news? Oh, also the structure's very different. So show starts off the greeting, friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and something silly I say. So you feel welcome. Maybe you barely smile. You feel seen. So that's how the show starts. Then there's support for listeners and support for the podcast. So support so you know I'm here to help, and then I want to keep the show free. So that's that. Then there's the intro. So the intro goes from like minute 6 or minute 8 to about minute 20-something. And you say, well, isn't an intro supposed to be like 3 or 4 minutes? I say, yeah, normally. But mine goes on and on and on to ease you into bedtime and to give you time to wind down, whether you're in bed or you're getting ready for bed or you're doing something relaxing as a part of your bedtime routine, and Sleep With Me just fits in there somewhere. That's the main reason the intro goes on and on and on, is just to, like a slow landing in bed and getting comfortable. Because I've never found, for me, a quick fix that just works. So that's, another thing. What else do you need to know? Don't need to listen. Oh, intro. So then after the intro is business. That's how we keep the show free, are the sponsors. And then after that is our bedtime story. Tonight will be our episodically modular, ongoing, role-playing series. So you can listen to it in any order. Nice little bedtime story of friends playing a game. Journey into the Land of Tomorrow. Then there's some thank yous at the end of the show. So that's a structure show. It does take some getting used to. 3% of listeners skip the intro, start the show 20 minutes, and go from there. And then a few thousand people listen to story-only episodes on Patreon. There's also people that listen all night. And yeah, you could either set up an all-night playlist in their free podcast app, or like some people prefer to be a patron because there's no jingles or anything. Or there's also all-night episodes for patrons. But it takes a little while to figure out how you want to consume it. So when you're at first, just kind of see how it goes. Or it's okay if you don't like the podcast, or you don't like me right away. I mean, you could give it a few tries. I mean, because I'm here to help you fall asleep or to try to. But if you definitely don't like me or the show, that's understandable. I'm not everybody's taste. You could also go to sleepwithmepodcast.com/no thank you. There's other options and stuff there. So those are the things to know if you're new. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, the reason I make the show. One is because I have trouble falling asleep, staying asleep, getting to sleep, waking up. I've had all those things. So it's my pleasure to be able to help you because I know how it feels. I know how it feels in the deep, dark night. That's why I call it that. The other reason is I truly believe you deserve a good night's sleep. And if I can provide that, your life will be a little bit better. If you're rested, your life will improve. And if I'm a part of that, that means that your world's a better place. And I live in the same planet. So that means my world's a better place. So that gives a lot of meaning to why I make the show. But yeah, just give it a few tries, see how it goes. I'm glad you're here. I really appreciate you coming by. I work really hard. I yearn and I strive, and I really like to help you fall asleep. And here's a couple ways I'm able to do this podcast for you free twice a week. Hey, are you up all night tossing, turning, mind racing, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep? Well, welcome. This is Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. We do it the bedtime story. All you need to do is get in bed, turn out the lights, and press play. I'm going to do the rest. What I'm going to attempt to do is create a safe place where you could set aside whatever's keeping you awake, whether it's thoughts on your mind, thoughts, things on your mind. But it could be thoughts about past, present, or future, even current thoughts, or thoughts about current. You say, holy cow, where do you fall on AC versus DC? And I say, I never quite, can we get back to that? Could we talk about something more interesting, like Tesla versus Edison? What about Marconi? Is it Marconi? Okay, yeah, maybe we should get back to that. Because these thoughts about current may be keeping you awake, or it could be thoughts about current stuff. Earlier, before I started having my thoughts about current, I was thinking about I mispronounced something. You could also have thoughts about currents. You say, well, boy, baking with currants is, do you soak your currants, or do currants have seeds? Do you buy seedless currants? Or somebody may say, what's a current taste like? I say, I don't know. I never, they're good. Usually they're already installed. Like I buy my currants already, installed. I say, oh, currants are already in there, eh? But, I think I have prepared them in one of those bagged meal kits before. So thoughts could be one thing we've got a lot to talk about, I guess. Currently, I have currents on my mind, different formats, so whatever thoughts, it could be feelings you're feeling emotionally or experiencing coming up for you, or that are just there, remaining from the day, or for me, sometimes the person I work with has to point out, those are, from they're still here, but they're, I don't want to say old feelings, because, my feelings might have feelings about, they say, who are you calling old? I'd say, well, what do you want me to call you? I don't exactly have nostalgia for you, and you're from the past. Feelings from the past, that doesn't really ring well. You're right, old feelings doesn't. What about, how do you feel about me calling you moldy feelings? No, absolutely not. Well, can I get back to you? What if I say these are, aged feelings, what about cave-aged feelings? Think about that, and I'll come back to you if I remember. So feelings, physical sensations, those cave-aged feelings, they're the best. You could, and we use the same cave for cheese, champagne, and feelings. I don't know if it would be the Loire Valley, but if I could get a cave to age cheese and champagne, I'd probably just say, well, could you lease out the space? They say, okay, wow, this is quite an operation you got here. So it looks like you're aging cheese and champagne here in the Loire Valley. Is it called the Loire Valley? You don't know. You live in my mind. Okay. Well, I see a lot of empty space. I was thinking about filling. Would you lease out that empty space for me? And they'd say, for what? I say, well, feelings. I'm looking to cave age some feelings. From customers? No, my own. I got enough to fill this cave and many others. Oh, you're right. I'm in the middle of, so feelings of physical sensations could be the other thing that's keeping you awake. So whether, something physical you're feeling emotionally or you're thinking about, or all of them, it could be something else. We get a lot of people that listen to the show just for a little while. So they're going through a period of, you're experiencing something. Whatever it is, I'm here to help. I'm here to take your mind off of stuff so you can fall asleep. That's really the simple version, which only took me, 8 minutes to get to that. But so a couple things, the way I do it is I try to create a safe place. And at first you might think a cave, cave for aging feelings, where I discovered something. I don't know. That does sound, I like the way that sounds. A cave for aging feelings. That's what I call my heart. Stories from my heart. But that could be a safe place. Of course, you're right. It would have to be dehumidified. But they might need the humidity for the cheese. It shouldn't smell like cheese unless it's the good kind. You're right about that. Okay, we'll get back to you. But I want to create a safe place, whatever evokes that for you. If an aging cave. And here's a question. I mean, caves are always aging, but that could be another SAT question. Let's see if we could figure that out. An aging cave is it aging cave best for aging? An aged cave. Who are you calling an aged cave? You're right about that cave. I was just exploring the language. Now, I didn't say old or aged. I just said an aged cave. It could mean anything. You could be any age. I don't know. I don't know. I'll tell you what, I don't know the difference between limestone and something else I can't even think of that would fit here in a good punny way. I don't know the difference. I wish I had a body part that would sound funny, or that limestone started with like ASS, because then I could say that. I don't know my rear, is there, I don't know. I can't think of a term. Sorry about that, cave. Believe it or not, I've gotten distracted now 4 or 5 times. I'm going to try to create a safe place for aged caves everywhere. They say, man, those Sleep With Me downloads exploded because he captured the entire segment of caves that listened to the podcast for 2 weeks, and then he called the cave aged, and he lost the whole cave audience. And it was a beautiful thing because his voice was echoing through those caves. All the cheese did go bad, and the champagne went bad too. But that was also the same caves that Scooter had leased out to kind of age his feelings. But actually, I probably wouldn't age my feelings. Just thinking about it, I wouldn't mind putting my feelings on racks in a beautiful cave and walking through it and saying, oh boy, that would be much easier than when my feelings come up at bedtime and say, hey, let's talk about this right now. Like instead, I could tour the cave. Maybe I'd have one of those helmets with a candle in it. That would be cool. And they'd say, okay, who are you again? Oh, boy, 4th grade, eh? When I couldn't figure out how to tie my shoes. Oh, no? Oh, you're when I couldn't remember my home phone number or my home address. I was unable to memorize those. You're right. Only kid in the class. All of those things were true. Probably beyond 4th grade. But yeah, okay. Well, that's good to see it. You're looking great here. What do you think of this cave? Would you believe it? You're next to a cheese that starts with a CH, and after that, CHAMB. And I think above you is a Chateaubriand or something. It's from Brienne of Tarth's fictional champagne groves. Every grape is cut off with her sword, according to legend. Oh, I'm supposed to be starting a podcast? Oh, sleep podcast. Thanks for reminding me of that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to send my voice across the deep, dark night. I'm going to use lulling, soothing, creaky, dulcet tones, pointless meanders. You've seen a few of those. Superfluous tangents. You've seen a few of those as well. So those are a couple things. Really, what I'm here to do is keep you company while you fall asleep. Now, if you're new, you've probably already caught on that this podcast is a little bit different and a little bit strange and silly. So, when you first get to this podcast, you might be wondering. A lot of people say this: "What in the hay?" or "What in the name of aged caves is this person talking about?" Sometimes they even put an FOOL in there. Those are just managers of caves in the Loire Valley. That's what they've said to me. And they say, "Why are you calling again?" And I got one more question for you. Are you on, like, in the movies, sometimes there's these cool phones in caves that you wind up, you crank up. Are you on that phone? Hello? Hello? And then my favorite part is they say, "Monsieur, you've been disconnected." And I say, "Okay." Anyway, so could I talk to you for a second? Well, hello? Hello? Oh, boy. Enough of my personal life. Enough of my hobbies getting in the way. So this podcast is a little bit different. It's really meant to be a friendly voice you don't really listen to. Just like, I mean, that could be my future. I could be in the cave and you could call in and it would be the same thing. I would just be in my cave talking to you. And I'd say, "Oh, yeah, how's the weather today?" "Oh, it's just same as always, 55, 44% humidity." That's how we like it. I mean, I don't particularly, it's not exactly the best weather. Perfect for aging my feelings, so I believe. Though the people I've run it by said, "Scooter, I think this is what we call a boondoggle in the business of mental health. Mental health boondoggle." And I'd say, "Well, could that get me in one of those DSVM-4? Like, could you just put in there, like, under cave aging, maybe you could put in there, not the best, cave aging your feelings, not the best idea. In 2021, maybe you could, or maybe a footnote. Could I be a footnote in there? DSVM-7? Okay. Sorry. I got to get back to the listeners. So this podcast is a bit different. It's a podcast you don't really listen to. It's also a podcast that doesn't really put you to sleep. It more keeps you company while you fall asleep. So really my job is just to be here. And that's why the shows are over an hour or right around an hour. You got plenty of time to drift off. But if you can't sleep, I'm going to be here to the very end, keeping you company. So those are some pieces of good news is I'll be here to keep you company and you don't have to listen to me. A couple other things new listeners like to know that I unfortunately never get to in early in the episode is structure of the show. That can really throw people off. Some people are already like, not listening anymore. But so the show starts off with a greeting. So you feel welcome. Then there's business, so the show can be free. Then there's an intro from around minute 6 to minute 20 or so of me rambling and introducing the podcast. For new listeners, you get a taste of what to expect clearly here. I mean, we've covered currents and aged caves and feelings in Loire Valley. That's a lot of ground to cover. And you say, it almost makes sense what he's talking about. It almost makes sense. I mean, some people, cheesemongers and champagners, they say you'd never put cheese and champagne in the same cave. Wait a second. We've never put champagne and cheese in the same caves before. What could happen? And you say, well, you could, there's a 50% chance your champagne would taste like cheese. Not good, maybe. I don't know. I can't drink champagne, or your cheese could taste like champagne, which that makes, you say, wait a second, that almost makes no sense. So that's kind of the intro. It introduces you to the show when you're new, but for regular listeners, it's part of their wind down routine. They barely listen to the intro while they're doing something else, getting comfortable, getting cozy, or chillaxing, doing something to wind down. And the intro goes on for 16 to 20 minutes to give you some distance from the day and to ease you into bedtime. That's just what I've seen works over the years. for those of us that struggle to sleep, that kind of want this style of show, sleep just doesn't happen. It takes a little bit of, it doesn't take effort. I'm doing the effort here. I'm the one that's leasing out imaginary cave space. So it's just meant to ease you into bedtime or to be part of your wind down routine. So see how it goes. The other thing is seeing how it goes is important. You don't have to be open-minded, but you could say, well, I'll see if this works. Give it a few tries and say, you can be doubtful and say, I doubt this, I'm not sure about this podcast, that I don't really need to listen to and that doesn't really make very much sense. And I'd say, it sounds like you're in the right place then. Just doesn't say, I'm not sure how to feel about this show. And give it a couple tries to barely listen to it and see how it goes. That's what most reviewers and regular listeners say. So that's that. So structure the show. Oh, there's the intro. That's the purpose of the intro. Then there's business. Then we'll talk about the Great British Baking Bake Off show. I got to make sure to say all those words so that nobody comes and says, hey, one of those baking shows that takes place in Britain and it has people baking things. So we'll talk about that. Then the show ends with some thank yous and good nights. So that's the structure of the show. And finally, the most important thing is the reason I make the show. You deserve a good night's sleep. You deserve a place where you can rest. Because if you get some sleep, the world's going to be a better place. Really. You say, well, and I say, yeah, your world will be a better place. I want you to be able to flourish. And I also want to counteract the bedtime dread. I've been there. Tossing, turning, mind racing, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep, thoughts, feelings, physical sensations. I've dealt with all that. And if I can help take your mind off of that stuff so that you can get comfortable or have the podcast as a part of your wind down routine, even if it's just for a couple of weeks or if you need it on a regular basis, that's my honor. Because I know how it feels in the deep, dark night. So that's why I make the show. I'm really glad you're here. I really, really appreciate your time and you coming by. Believe it or not, I work very hard at your nice drive. I'd really like to help you fall asleep. And here's a couple ways I'm able to bring this show twice a week. Hey, everybody, this is Scoots tucking you in. I'm hoping you're the one person that we've been trying to get a hold of that's listening and hearing me right now, that's going to support the show right now. At sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. You could save 20% if you sign up by the end of the year, 20% off your first 3 months. But I wanted to check in and say, when you sign up for Sleep With Me Plus, make sure to add all of the podcast feeds to a podcast app. And I would say check out an independent podcast app, whether you have Apple or Android phone. There's tons of great options. And take that podcast app and only listen to the Sleep With Me Plus content in it. So then you have whatever app you're listening to this ad-supported version in. Maybe that's the app you use for your daytime podcasts. Maybe you keep your music app for music only. Then you have a daytime podcast app and then a bedtime podcast app. And this isn't just something I'm talking about. This is how I listen to podcasts. I have a podcast app that I use for running, a podcast app I use for listening to episodes of Sleep With Me before they come out, a podcast app I use to listen to podcasts while I'm driving, a podcast app that I use to listen to podcasts with my daughter, and then my music app that I also use as a backup podcast app. But you're going to have so much of a better experience if you just, and you can try out a bunch of different podcast apps. If you're on Sleep With Me Plus, you can add your podcast to multiple podcast apps and see which one works best. But good independent podcast apps, you can always learn more by watching YouTube videos about how to use them, but you can build playlists, set sleep timers. But you don't have to worry about daytime podcasts coming on or music coming on, or if you're paying for the show on Sleep With Me Plus, you don't have to worry about the ads coming on or anything like that. And even if you listen to these ad-supported versions, you should try it. It's going to be a better experience because a lot of independent podcast apps let you search in the individual podcast feeds, so you could look up, hey, my favorite episodes are Bake Off or TNG episodes or Ray episodes or Make Great Pets. Whatever your favorites are, it's a lot easier to do that in a podcast app. And it's particularly when you use like podcast apps for certain uses, it almost becomes like its own app. But it's better than an app because podcast apps are built with podcast listening in mind. So it's just going to be a much, 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 much better experience. And I just want to save you, like, I just want to make your listening experience the best it possibly can. So I guess what I'm saying is no matter what app you listen in, or whether you're a paid listener or you enjoy this listener-supported, ad-supported version of the podcast, check out some of these great independent podcast apps that are out there. Try it out, but just listen to your sleep podcasts in an app, not any other. Keep your daytime podcasts in whatever app you're listening in right now. Then you'll discover a new podcast app. You might discover features that you didn't know existed. Oh, by the way, though, when you set up Sleep With Me in any podcast app, make sure features like Smart Speed and Vocal Boost are turned off. They might have different terms, truncate silence, silence skipping, something about volume, but usually called like Vocal Boost or Volume Boost and Smart Speed or silence skipping. Make sure those are off and you're listening at 1x speed. There's just another little thing. And, oh, by the way, some people slow the show down. And again, a high-quality podcast app will be able to slow the show down without adding any, like, audio artifacts or anything. So anyway, it's just my message, and that we're having a huge sale, sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus, 20% off your first 3 months if you're a new subscriber, 20% off gift subscriptions. And here's the thing, we do need your support if you're a super listener. And if you support the show, then it'll definitely be here in 2026 for you. Thanks.